when looking at that omni-channel capability, we are still not where we want to be. I think many retailers are not where they want to be, and perhaps again with this crisis, there is, and certainly we saw that in our survey, there is a need for accelerating those plans for increasing omni-channel capability. So in this last section, we wanted to just talk about a couple of examples of things that we are working with our customers, and wanted to mention first about the approach of working through this crisis. Again, we are in an environment that we are all working from home, working in a way that perhaps for many is not the usual way. And I would say that even for those people that work from home normally, the environment is quite different because they will have their families at home, and it is, I think, a fairly difficult time. So one thing that is really critical is the partnership approach. Is the way that these projects are taken on, where there has to be a single team operating, and the ability for that team to collaborate is absolutely critical. So there is a partnership approach with a distributed team that is delivering the initiative, and in order to do that, the methodology follow has to be lean and has to be agile, and that is really what allows for these things to happen, and it's both to the credit of our consultants and the people working at the retailer to achieve results, and to arrive to that position where the design is finalized, and the software is built, tested, and it can become available. So the first example that I wanted to talk was about this concept of a store as fulfillment center, and this is interesting because using stores as fulfillment centers is nothing new, and certainly many stores in the context of BOPIS are used essentially as fulfillment centers. But what we're seeing from multiple retailers is now the need or the opportunity to use the stores really as warehouse, and moving much higher volume of orders. So it is a very different proposition to have to move thousands of orders a day from a store than maybe what before was a custom, where the orders were just click and collect. So in this case, for this customer, for this retailer, they fell into the essential retailer space. So many of their stores were open. They are open. Their online sales gone up really significant, but the limitations to their logistics were exposed there, and very quickly the SLAs on their e-commerce sites were just simply not being met. Orders were piling up at the warehouse, and there was really a need for eliminating the queue and not lose the opportunity of this increased amount of business. So we work with them to come up with a solution where the existing Oracle POS solution would allow them to fulfill orders in a much more effective way at scale. So what that entailed was to build a separate order adapter for the e-commerce orders that will route the orders to the store. We did some minor enhancements to the point of sale for managing those orders and sending updates for the process of fulfillment. And the new process the process for pick and pack was completely redesigned for the stores. Um, there was also a new process brought in for shipment with integration with the courier portal. And essentially, some of the stores that were closed for the chain became dark stores. That's how they were referring to them, becoming warehouses for fulfillment. And the results, I mean, this went live a couple of weeks ago, and the results were dramatic immediately. And the ability to deliver stores orders directly from the store has had a massive effect on this business. And again, what is being used is the Oracle point of sale. The changes that were made, the technology is used, pretty straightforward. We think it's a great example, again, of the principles I was mentioning before in terms of working in partnership, coming up with a whole set of new processes with a technical solution that we were able to build together in a relatively short time. The second example is something that is still not live, but that we're currently working very actively on, which is the creation of a mobile app that is going to be used both for the store staff and for self-service. And here we're leveraging existing APIs of the Oracle point of sale. The value proposition is very much about not having to introduce a separate mobile point of sale that would try to address customer journeys that are still evolving, and rather to look at experimenting on those customer journeys through the app. And with a common mobile framework, we are working on delivering a mobile experience that will be different obviously for the store staff and the end customers, but will use the same technical capabilities and will be fairly straightforward to update. The focus of this mobile app is really to address some social distancing and contactless payments. And that ability to adapt to change is absolutely key, whether it's in the workflow for sales or the workflow for inventory. The approach is going to be to bring incremental changes, to experiment on the results in the store, the behavior of customers as they are going through this new phase of the crisis. And as we collaborate with the retailer, we're looking at the end-to-end solution. And part of that experimentation is figuring out what are those behaviors likely to be, and making sure that we can be very reactive, very flexible at changing the flow of the application depending on the feedback we get. And part of it is the concerns about safety, and a key part of the solution is the fact that we have to consider that the devices have to be disinfected, and we are currently looking at a solution from UV Clean that delivers that ability. And again, this is a design that is specifically being developed for for new normal, and something that we are actively working at the moment, that we see likely to be a pattern moving forward.